So give me an example of your creativity or your analytical skill or managing ability, or you could put anything here which is something that is expected out of an MBA, right? So it won't be something which is extremely bizarre, okay? But one extreme is, let's say you don't have an example at all, okay, of whatever it is. Then you can give, also first of all, you can here say that, let me take a moment, can I take a moment to think about this? Suppose you figure out that you don't have an example at all about this, then you can say that what would you do if you had to show this sort of thing. Suppose you have not handled anything which required you to be extremely creative or innovative or something like that, then you can mention, agar ye hota, so this would what I would have done. I can't think of something presently, but if this is what, if this would have happened, this would. Chances are you won't. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आपके पास स्टोरी नहीं होगा. Because they will also ask something very generic. So go to whatever stories you have or whatever incidents you have and mention something in a nice way. You could take 3-4 minutes here and give a proper account. Suppose while talking you feel from their facial expressions that they are getting a little bored or क्यों इतना सारा बता रहे हो, then stop and say that to cut a long story short, this is what it is. Or if you feel it's too short, then ask, should I go on, or do you need more explanation or something like that. Side note, when you are preparing stories, check it with 3-4 of your friends on what is their thing about the length and duration, the content, and where were they hooked to the entire thing. Did they want you to skip to the end, or they felt that nahi bolo humko aaj janna hai. Did they have questions in the middle, because what is the point that you're trying to convey. But this is a good question for a story. This is also not a question of elimination, but it could be a question where if your answer is better than someone else, it might give you extra points. Achha. Because these are evidences that they're talking about. Also, when they ask you example or something specific, then you have to know that this is what they're looking for. Right? So in that sense, if you have prepared in advance, you would have probably been able to anticipate what they are looking for. Right? Okay. Toughest challenge you have ever faced, similar to toughest decision. Now, okay. One thing was you could give a personal challenge where something went wrong, and how you came out of it, and what you have learned from it. The reason for asking this is knowing about who you are as a person. Because if you are generally ask someone whether you can handle crisis, how you're calm or etc., they will give very socially desirable answers. But here, if you have a real challenge of saying something, then they know that you've actually been through, and this is who you are as a person. Right. This also shows your maturity level, regardless of age, because challenge is not. Suppose you feel that you don't have anything which qualifies as the toughest challenge, you can talk about things about moving away from home, staying in a different city, staying with a roommate. Or DOCC mein everybody would have a challenge. You're talking to a sitara, mentoring a young person. You could speak to any about it. Okay? Whether your challenge is tough enough or not, or is the toughest which any human being could face or not, is not their concern. Okay? So you don't have to worry that it doesn't look that tough enough. It's absolutely okay to not have a challenge and do it. Okay? That's okay. They are not looking at, it's not a reality show, right? So they are not looking for sympathy. Related to that is, when you share your story of a personal challenge or a professional challenge, do not in ever think should it come out that you're looking for sympathy or pity. Okay? You're making the other person awkward, and that is not the point anyway of asking the questions. So you could also say that maybe losing a parent or grandparent or anybody, death could be a challenge which obviously would have made you reconsider life's decisions a little bit. But in your own demeanor, it should not come out that you are trying for pity.
Got it.
You could talk about a relationship challenge. Some people, as I said, mentioned, some people talk about breakups. Personally, I would avoid some things because it is extremely personal, and suppose it is a very recent breakup, then you become a little senti. Or if you have some unfinished business or some feelings that you have not addressed, they might come out at the wrong time. The other issue is, and it is unfair, but still the issue is sometimes people may feel that breakup hi tha, right? It's the umar hi aisi hai, so that sort of thing. Depends on who you have samne. Also, it might seem an invitation, not an invitation, but it might seem that, okay, So suppose you tell me about a breakup and something like that happened, then it might feel that you are okay with sharing a lot more personal information. Then if I ask you something else, then you say, no, I'm not comfortable talking about me. It's a little bit of a discord, right? पहले अपनी राम कहानी सुनाई, अब मैं कुछ पूछ रही हूँ तो बोलते अब मेरे को नहीं बोलना. Something it doesn't sit right. So, but if you can handle this whole thing, if it is a long term something like that, like there was someone who had said that 4-year relationship ended because somebody cheated, and then he connected it to loyalty and values and something like that. But it still felt it was TMI. Like, क्यों बता रहे हो इतना सारा? Without actually coming to the point. Right. So this is, I would leave it to you in that sense that you don't have to justify why it's a tough challenge. It is meant to know you, who you are as a person, and have you learned from the challenge that you face. Right? Okay. So biggest failure or something like that is a similar thing. What did you learn from your failure? What did you learn from the challenge? Right? So something that. What are your goals and how do you measure success? Okay, now these are interesting and important questions because they also show that you have given some rational thought, put some serious thought into it. Goals, give one personal, one professional goal. It could be a short term, a long term goal, anything. It could be I want to live a life of peace. That's also a goal, it's absolutely okay. And justify how you are doing that. Okay, it doesn't only have to be I want to work here, work there. It could be I want to be a thought leader on some topic. It could be I want to be a CEO, but don't limit only to saying ye goal hai. Explain something of it. That I want to influence people, I want to lead someone. They don't have to be career goals, they have to be professional goals, right? So in a sense, career means that मेरे को 4 साल में, let's say 4 years I want to do branding, then I want to do marketing, something like that. They may ask you separately career goals. But this is what I think, what is the direction of life that you are picking? Right. So personal goals also do not have to be I want to become more of a morning person or I want to lose so much weight or something. These are good goals to have. But this is telling me about you as a person. So I want to work on something like this. Or I figured out that while I love reading, I have not been able to devote much time to the kind of books I like. So I have set this as a goal for 2023 or 4 or 5 or whatever. That I will cover 10 books or I will finish for 15 books or I will travel more, see the world. Those things are okay. And the question about success, which is here, how do you define success? It's an absolutely individual, personal choice to answer that. You cannot go wrong in this. It is not going to help you eliminate or anything like that. If you have some sort of a story that this person inspired you or this is how you see success, say it. They are trying to see, right. So, somebody gave this example in a panel discussion that he admired Donald Trump. He thought Donald Trump was successful. Did we do that in the other question or? Check it in the edit. Yeah, check it in the edit. But basically, how he was successful from being a no one to being a corporate, one of the richest people in America to being one of the powerful people in America, right? So this is what he sees as success. If you have a story of a parent who has grown from, let's say, coming from very humble backgrounds to providing for their family, and you feel that is successful, or you feel. You could also be asked not how do you measure success, how do you think you have arrived, how do you define things that are important to you, what do you think as a person who has done well in life, how do you measure that, how do you measure happiness. There could be variations of these questions. Okay. Essentially they are trying to understand what do you value, okay? How do you measure things and what do you value, whether you feel that I will be successful if I have a BMW at the age of 30. Okay, it shows you value material things. You look at success in also in those things. And the way you have answered the other questions, it will be consistent. And that's okay. Okay, basically, they are not making a value judgment. You can say that whatever, you can say anybody is successful. You can call Adani also successful. You can call Ambani also successful. But remember that the moment you say somebody, then that means you are you are condoning their actions. Every action, every value, every belief.
Oh, okay.
So if you say I like how Ambani has progressed, it just means that you are okay with sometimes being unethical because Ambani are associated with a lot of those things, right?
Yeah.
Or infighting or family feuds or whatever. Similarly, Ambani. Adani also for that matter, ethics are in question. So whatever you are saying, you are aligning yourself.
Okay.
But this is largely your personal thing, so there is no right, perfect answer to this.
Okay.
But build it up if possible with a couple of examples. You
Right.
can't give a story
Yeah.
because
Correct.
success is a futuristic sort of thing, right? But you can say that this is what I thought, or you could say some people quote quotes that X said this and I like this, and I think this is how I will measure success. So it's sort of a humble bragging in terms of indirectly saying I read books, I know quotes, etc. But give credit where it is due. Just don't say this is my quote.
So I'm creating a rationale behind
Yes.
whatever I'm saying.
Yes.
Not too long rationale.
Not
like
too
a strong
long
one, but a good, strong
Yes,
rationale.
yes. And that you have thought about.
I've thought about this, right?
Because this is future oriented.
Correct. Right.